Welcome to the Etsy Conversations podcast, featuring inspiring interviews with Etsy shop owners, hosted by Ijama Elazu.
Hi, and welcome to another episode of the Etsy Conversations podcast. I'm your host, Ijama, and I thank you for joining me this week. My guest we happen to be neighbors, actually, in a way, not directly. And her name is Kelsey. She runs the Etsy shop Jolu Design, and she's been selling on Etsy since about 2017. Kelsey, thank you so much for being my guest, and welcome to the podcast.
Thank you so much for having me.
You are so welcome. So before we start, can you tell us a bit about yourself and how you discovered Etsy?
So I'm actually from South Louisiana, and then because of a job, I ended up moving to Colorado and kind of fell in love and have decided to stay here. I think Etsy was kind of just always around. I remember when it kind of had that first big boom where everyone all of a sudden was a handmade seller. And I think I was in like high school maybe, but I remember that, and it's kind of always been in the back of my head. I guess growing up, even though I was very, very into art and I drew all the time, I kind of grew out of it and then fell back in love with it about the time I was in college. And then whenever I wanted to start a creative business, Etsy really was the first thing I thought of. I knew it had the platform I needed because I didn't really have an audience. Yeah. And yeah.
Was anybody else in your family an entrepreneur or creative like you, or were you just like the trailblazer in this?
My grandfather used to do like wood burning kind of designs just for fun. And then my mom sews just for fun. But I think I was the first one to actually open a business. Now my sister actually has a business, and so does my stepfather. But I was definitely the first one to do it.
Oh, nice. Okay. So tell us what you make and sell on Etsy.
So my main thing is art prints. I'm actually growing into other products. So right now I have memo pads, laptop sleeves, and I'm about to release notebooks.
Okay. So you create these designs from scratch, and then you put your designs on items and then sell them?
Yes.
Okay. How do you decide which designs are more suitable for which types of products? I've personally always just wondered that.
I guess it's kind of just something I've learned over time. For me, if it looks good as a print, I'll normally keep it as that. Kind of the way I design first off is I always kind of assume it's going to be a print. Mm-hmm. If it ends up starting to look more like a pattern than an actual design, then I'll start kind of thinking of it more as a memo pad or a laptop sleeve or maybe even a notebook.
Okay. And how do you decide which products to branch out into? Do you have an affinity for certain types of products?
I kind of go off of what I use on a daily basis. So a lot of the time I use notepads and memo pads just to kind of keep my thoughts all in order. Yeah. And I was kind of bored of what I was buying. It pretty much was always like a neon blue or green. So I wanted something a little prettier, a little bit more me. So I had I think last year, kind of made my own, printed them out, kind of tested different types of ways to put it together. And then I think it was actually an Instagram story. It was just like in the corner of a picture I'd posted, and a bunch of people DM'd me and was like, hey, can I buy that?
Whoa.
So I kind of decided to do that. And then I've always wanted notebooks. I love, I guess, just drawing all the time. I love notebooks and I go through them quickly. So I like them to look pretty on my bookshelf whenever they're full.
Yeah.
So now that I've kind of figured it out, I'm thinking it's probably going to be next month or the month that this is posted. Mm-hmm. I'm going to have notebooks out with all my pretty little designs.
Oh, nice. See, I'm a tactile person too. I do the notepads. I make my lists and then destroy them once I've crossed everything off too. I use the app on my phone. I have a notes app, but it's not as easy for me to remember to pick up my phone and look at the app. But with the paper, with a notepad, I feel it works better with my brain because it's there, and then once it's done, I can throw it away and know I'm really done.
Yeah, that's the way I am. I tried, I think it was Trello and all of these, like
Yeah.
how to stay organized, and my brain just forgets that I need to look at my phone.
Yes.
So I'm like, I had something to remember, and I'll just go like crazy looking for a note somewhere on paper.
Yeah.
So I've just decided to keep a notebook on me 24/7
Yeah.
and just write everything down.
Yes, I do too, have the same thing. So when you originally opened your Etsy shop, what was the primary goal or the intention behind the shop?
This probably sounds really like maybe big-headed, but I distinctly remember my mom asking me, like, okay, you open this Etsy shop, like, do you want it to be like a craft thing or do you want it to be a job? And I was like, I want my products in Target.
Wow.
I don't know where that came from or why I wanted it. Now it's kind of just like I want it in a big box store. It doesn't have to be Target.
Oh, okay, good. I was going to say, I thought when you said now, I was like, no, don't tell me you don't want it in stores anymore.
I actually do have a few wholesale clients of like smaller boutiques in like Breckenridge and the local area.
Yeah.
But big goal would definitely be like a big box store like Target. It doesn't have to be Target now.
Yeah. So, let's talk about how you got into wholesale. I don't know if you would know this because I think by 2017, when you opened your shop, this was no longer a thing. But Etsy used to have what they called Etsy Wholesale, where sellers, it was a platform within Etsy where retail stores could come and find sellers with products that they wanted to carry in their stores, and they just made it easier to do the whole wholesale ordering and whatnot. How have you been able to handle that on your own, having your products in retail and selling wholesale?
I've done a lot of YouTube University.
Yeah. Yes.
So it's been a lot of YouTube. That's pretty much how Jolu has been made, is just by YouTube.
Yeah.
Also on top of that, it's called Faire, so Faire. It's a wholesale website, and there's also Doe, which is a woman empowerment wholesale company as well. So it's only women in business that are on the shop and selling to wholesale companies.
Oh, I've never heard of those. Is Doe DOE as in the female deer?
Dough.
Oh, Doe. Okay. All right. So I will look those up and then link to them for anyone who wants to check those out. And so are those like clearing houses for retailers and wholesale people who want to buy wholesale? How do those platforms work?
So for Dough, it's really new. So you have to wait, instead of like Etsy where as soon as you get a sale within like a week, you get that money in. With Dough, they have a 30-day window. So whenever you have the sale, you have to wait 30 days before you can actually get that money.
Okay.
And then Faire is a little bit different. Faire, you get paid as soon as you have your order, but for the retailer, they get to have like a net 30 or a net 60. So it kind of works for both. It makes both more comfortable buying and selling things.
Okay. Do you tend to sell the same products in your retail shop or on Etsy and on your website? Because you also have a website, joludesign.com. For anyone who wants to check it out, it's JOLOUDESIGN, joludesign.com. And I will have a link to it in the show notes for this episode as well. But do you sell the same things on your own retail outlets that you sell wholesale?
A lot of the time, my wholesalers get like almost a little catalog, and it's all the products that I've just made that are not yet released on my retail shops. So it'll go kind of the wholesale. They can buy products that I haven't released yet, and then Normally the website has it first and then Etsy will have it.
Oh, okay. Nice. And when you sell wholesale, how do you figure out how much to make? Do you satisfy your wholesale customers first, and then if there's any leftover, or if you think it's going to be a popular design, you create more?
So my wholesalers, I have like a minimum of $150, so they have to just spend that, and it can be any of the products. And then everything I have is actually, all of my products are made in-house other than like very select things that I get in bulk. So for my memo pads, if I buy them in bulk, I normally can kind of estimate. It kind of depends if I have like a new wholesale client, then I won't really know. So most of the time I overbuy. And then if I just have extras, I'll do an Instagram sale or a Facebook sale just to kind of get rid of the extra.
Okay, I see. Um, oh, you're sparking so many questions in my head. I'm having a hard time even making notes for myself to ask. But okay, let's talk about the Instagram sales and you said also Facebook sales.
Yes.
How do those work? Do you do like a live show and people interact with you and tell you what they want, or do you record what you're going to sell, or do you just do static pictures?
So I actually learned this from my sister who has her own business that's only Facebook and Instagram.
Wow.
But basically, I post a picture. So if it's Facebook, it's just a post. And for Instagram, I'll use IG stories. So it's a little bit more of like you have to get it now before it deletes itself. But I'll post a picture and then I'll put whoever messages me first and wants it, they can have it.
Okay.
So it's kind of like a first come, first serve.
Yeah.
And then once it's sold out, I'll post on both platforms and be like, okay, it's sold out. Thank you so much.
Okay. So do you rely on your followers to just see it, or do you do any kind of promotion of those posts where you're selling?
Normally, I try to give them about 2 weeks because I know life is insane, especially right now.
Yeah.
So I try and give them about 2 weeks. So just like reminding them either every day or every other day to try not to be annoying. But I kind of just say like, hey, on this day, there's going to be like a flash sale, be on Instagram or Facebook, and you can get whatever you would like.
Okay. And then how do you handle invoicing and collecting payments?
Because I know Etsy, it's a very trusted platform and it's very easy to get shipping labels and all that from my end. So I normally make a custom listing just for that one person, and I'll send them the link in either DMs or Facebook Messenger.
Oh, that's smart. Yeah. And so, that's smart. Yeah. So when you make a custom listing, do you make it as a digital download so they don't have to you don't have to actually ship anything through Etsy shipping?
Sometimes it kind of depends on where they're living. I do have a lot of people that live like in the Denver area that just want to pick it up, or they want me to just drop it on their front steps. So there's none of that COVID tracking.
Yeah, yeah.
But if it's that, then it will be a digital download and it'll just be whatever price we agreed on. If it's something I do have to ship, I'll do it. I offer free shipping for all of my products, so it's nothing extra they have to pay. Okay. But if I have to ship it, I'll put it as a physical product. That way Etsy makes a shipping label for me.
Okay. That's so smart. So I sold on Instagram as well, but I did it completely differently because I was doing the invoicing through PayPal. So when I've never tried selling on Facebook, but when someone shows interest, so I would post the product, and then when someone claims it, I would just send them an invoice through PayPal. But it's so much easier to do it through Etsy now that you mentioned that, because you're right, they trust that platform. I never had a problem, but yes, I think that that's a good way to go too, because then at least, the money gets directly into your bank account and all that.
Yeah.
Yeah. The other thing you mentioned was that everything is made in-house. So do you make everything to order, or do you keep a certain level of inventory of all your products?
I keep a certain amount, mainly just for like my wholesale clients, just so I can get it out as quickly as I can for they can get it in their shop and ready. But overall, as far as like Etsy and my own website and Amazon, I pretty much, as soon as I get the order, I'll make it and ship it out all within probably a day or two.
Okay. So let's talk about that, because you're on 3 different platforms.
Yes.
You're on Etsy, you're on Amazon Handmade, and you have your own e-commerce website. How does each day look for you running a business on 3 different platforms, and how do you know where to give your attention at any given point in time?
My daily looks quite hectic. I've kind of figured out a schedule. Amazon Handmade's pretty
Okay.
new. I've had it for about a month because the whole process of getting like accepted and all that is very like it's time consuming. They like things a certain way. So it did take a while. I think I started last February and I just got accepted in December.
Really? That long?
Yeah, it was COVID really did have an issue with it because
Okay.
with my job moving, my address ended up moving, and with Amazon Handmade, you have to show a copy of your address. So at the time, I was like, well, I'm living here, but I also am living here. And they were like, no, I don't like
Yeah,
that.
they don't like that.
Yeah. And then the way they like you to send it in, some things they wanted a screenshot, other things you have to scan it from your printer and email it to them.
What if you scan it from your phone, like an app on your phone? Would they know?
Sometimes they accept it and sometimes they don't. They're
Wow.
very they're so weird. It's the only company I've ever had that I'm like almost pulled my hair out. I was like, please.
So far, has it been worth it?
I've gotten I think the first thing I posted was December 30th. And so far, rough estimate, I've sold over 10 items.
Oh, that's not bad. And for context, even though this episode is going live in April, we're actually recording this in January. So we're talking about 2-3 weeks, maybe a month at the most, depending
Yes.
on when in December you were accepted. So I think that's not bad. I don't know Amazon Handmade platform as well, but I think 10 sales within your first month of being on a new platform sounds good to me.
Yeah, I definitely with Etsy, I think it took me 3 months before I got my first sale.
Really?
So for me, it literally was 4 days exactly.
Oh, wow.
And I remember getting the email and I was confused. I was like, what do you mean? But I think it has a lot to do with because it's so hard to get accepted sometimes and it takes so long
Yeah.
that it's not really a very saturated platform. I know art prints for Etsy are very, very saturated.
Yeah.
When it comes to Amazon, it's not really that saturated. I think I see the same like 4 or 5 shops every time I look at something.
Okay, good. Because I was going to ask what you think might contribute to that, or what attribute. Oh, now I'm forgetting my English words. But yes, why? I guess is the why you think it was so quick. On the flip side, Etsy, you didn't get your first sale for about 3 months. In that time, were you doing anything to make tweaks to maybe get that first sale, or did you just list it and wait?
So the first, I guess, version of Jolu was actually SVG files and social media like templates. So within those first 3 months was actually me figuring out what I wanted to sell and what kind of products I wanted to do. So I think it started as SVG files, and then my first sale was, I don't know if you remember the Netflix series Black Mirror.
No.
It was like this weird it's hard to like explain. It's just every episode's really weird. It's like the extreme version of things. So one episode is social media, but literally depicts where you are in society. So if you don't have X amount of followers, you are literally poor and you won't get any money.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's harsh.
So, yeah, I remember watching that one. I was just like, oh no, like I'd be broke. I
I think I'd be bankrupt.
But I decided to make a poster for each episode and I'd sell them as like a collection.
Mm-hmm.
And that was actually my first sale. It was some dude in New Jersey that bought all 3 seasons.
Whoa. So why did you transition out of that?
I guess it was a thing of changing products and figuring out what I like. I enjoyed making them.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like a fun little like project to do every day of like, okay, this is the episode. How do I depict that episode on a single flat sheet of paper?
Yeah.
And then with me moving, I started decorating my house, and that ended up with me making my own art prints. And then I just had a bunch of friends come in. They're like, where'd you buy that? I want that. So that's how it started now. It's mainly boho and mid-century modern art that I make.
Nice. And just for anyone who doesn't know what an SVG file is, can you explain those?
Sure. I don't know if a PNG is going to help, but it's basically an image that doesn't have a background. So you can put it as like your logo and still be able to see whatever is underneath it. So kind of like a watermark for photographers. That's what a lot of the people who bought it was people wanting to make their own logos. So they would use my SVG and then you like write their name in the middle of it or make it different to make it unique for them and work for their business.
Yeah. I had another Etsy shop. I think I've had like 4 where I used to sell SVG files as well, book quotes, and I eventually decided I didn't enjoy it very much. That was me too. In the beginning, I was excited, and then after a while, I was like, okay, I have to create another design.
Yeah,
and that was when I knew it was time to move on.
Same.
So, how do you determine the pricing for your products?
So I've always wanted, I guess to me, shopping for my own home decor, nothing hurts more than when I love something and the price, my bank account is like, oh no, that's not. So I've always wanted my art to be accessible to anyone from like an 18-year-old just getting into their college dorm all the way to like a new mom decorating their nursery.
Yeah.
So the way I do it is I base everything on my products. So my most expensive thing is the paper because I use really professional grade paper. So it's more expensive, but I buy it in bulk. So it becomes a little bit more accessible and it makes it to where I can make, I don't want to say cheaper, I can make more accessible things. So I think my 5x7 print is $10. So if you want to make like a cool little dorm collage of a bunch of 5x7s, it's not going to break the bank. I also do digital downloads. So they're all $8 and you end up with a 5x7, an 8x10, a 16x20, an 18x24, and a 24x36.
If you buy the digital file.
Yeah. Okay. So you can go to like your local Walgreens or Kinko's. I never sure how to say that.
Yes.
But it's a better price over there than if you buy like a 24x17 from me.
Oh, right. But then the paper quality is probably not the same, do you think?
It's been a while since I've printed Walgreens. I think they have more of like a semi-gloss, like a thinner paper. Mine is a little bit thicker, like a luster, just because I don't know, I like the feeling of mine. I went through a lot of just trying 1,000 different types of paper everywhere, and I ended up with this like really thick, nice luster paper that I personally really like.
Nice. And for anyone who doesn't know, I know that I have a lot of people who are outside the US that listen to the podcast. Kinko's is an office supplies oh, is it office supply? Like an
I think so.
Yeah, okay. So an office supply store. So you can go there and buy office supplies, but then they can also print documents for you, or in this case, art prints, because they have commercial size printers that can do so much more than just a regular home printer.
Yes.
Yeah. So do you also sell internationally?
Yes, the shipping isn't free,
I was going to
but
ask, yeah.
yeah, but a lot of the time, I know I had one Australian order from my website,
Yeah.
and I
Oh.
ended up somehow being able to get it way cheaper than what my website had actually thought it was going to be. So I just refunded her that difference and sent her like a little note of why I was refunding the difference.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, but it was nice. Sometimes I won't even lie, the price of shipping is insane.
I know.
So a lot of the time I tell people to get the digital download and then they can print it at their local print shop.
Yeah. Yeah. I know sometimes it hurts me too when I see things I have to send internationally, and I'm like, I really hope this person enjoys this.
Yeah, I really appreciate it because I'm like, wow, that is a lot of money that you're spending.
Yeah.
I really, really appreciate that.
Yeah, I do too. So you mentioned that on the website, on your website, that's joludesign.com.
Hmm.
This thing with the shipping, and you were able to adjust that. What platform did you build joludesign.com on?
I built it on Squarespace.
How easy or difficult or complicated, I should say, was that, if at
Um,
all?
I originally had I think it was a Shopify store
Mm-hmm.
at the very beginning of Jolu. I definitely should not have made a website because I didn't have any kind of followers or
Okay.
anything like that.
Uh-huh.
And I remember Shopify just giving me a headache, and I ended up closing the shop and was just like, I'm just gonna focus on Etsy. That's it. Like I'm gonna grow
Yeah.
this and be done. And then with COVID, kind of pretty much exactly when everyone got the first round of stimulus checks, I
Yeah.
remember Etsy just kind of blew up and everyone was buying things for their home. And I ended up getting the most sales I've ever had.
Really?
Yes. So
And that
because,
was on Etsy, or
yes.
okay.
And then because of that, I kind of decided I have an email list with a pretty decent amount of people who are very engaged. I was like, instead of paying all of these fees, because I hadn't really noticed them before, and then once I got that really big influx of orders, I really noticed how much Etsy was taking out. So I decided to make a Squarespace. I've seen a bunch of other artists that I either watch on YouTube or Instagram or TikTok. They swear by Squarespace. And whenever I made it, it was super easy. It's literally just a template, and it kind of walks you through at the beginning of like, okay, if you want to add a photo here or text. So it walks you through so you know exactly how to use it.
Okay. And so now, do you spend more time trying to drive more of your traffic, like from social media to your website, or do you send them more to Etsy?
So I actually believe you interviewed her. Her name is Lauren Keplinger.
Yes.
I listened to your episode with her, and I remember her saying, um, Etsy is its own platform that has millions of people shopping on it. So if you can harness those millions of people, then you can use all of your energy from social media and Pinterest and bring that to your own website.
Yeah.
Because she was like, you wouldn't open an Amazon store and try and like send traffic to them. You're trying to get Amazon's traffic.
Yes.
And for some reason that just clicked.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, everything as far as marketing is going to go right to the website.
Yeah.
And then I'm just going to deep dive into Etsy SEO and figure that out.
Okay. Yeah, that makes perfect sense. And I think that's the smart thing to do also. And I know in another conversation I had with Jennifer, and she does Queen custom claws.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And same thing with her. She developed this really large following on Instagram, and then she decided, instead of sending them to Etsy, just send them to her own website, and that model just has really worked. And I agree, Etsy is great because there's good traffic there and everything, but it's not yours, it's not ours. It's always
Yeah.
good to have your own as well.
Yes.
Yeah, okay, good deal. So then when you switched over to Squarespace, after you said you became really aware of how much you were paying in fees, have you been able, or have you noticed that as far as fees that you pay, because I know Squarespace also isn't free, but do you get to keep more of what you earn from your work?
Yeah, so because of that large sale on Etsy, I had more money than usual that I was able to spend. So I ended up doing a Squarespace annual, so it just paid for the entire year.
Oh,
And
okay.
kind of decided I was going to see how it goes. It was going to be a trial run year. If I at least broke even on sales that it afforded how much I just spent with Squarespace, then I was going to continue keeping it. And I believe it was like 3 or 4 months into having the Squarespace website, I got enough orders that it paid for that entire thing, the entire year.
Wow.
And I was like,
Nice.
"Okay, I'm sold."
Nice. So does the cost of setting up a site on Squarespace ping the year upfront? Do you pay additional fees with each sale? Like, do they have a checkout? Well, I'm sure they must have a checkout tool, but does
hmm
it cost any extra for each sale you get on top of just being able to house your site on their platform?
So I use Stripe via Squarespace,
Oh, I
and
love
Stripe
Stripe.
does have like a little bit of a fee, but to me
Mm.
it's way less than Etsy's fees.
Yes. Yes, I like Stripe too. I use them as well when for anything other than Etsy.
hmm
Um because, well, just for so many reasons. One, their fees are low, and two, the money goes right into my bank account too. And
Yeah.
it's so, well, once you have it all set up, it's seamless. For anyone who doesn't know what Stripe is, it's like they collect money for you essentially and then put it in your bank account. And
hmm
then if something doesn't, if a payment doesn't go through or whatnot, you get a notification so you know to reach out to a customer. Maybe their credit card has expired or something.
hmm
Yeah. Okay, so we talked about a little bit about what you do on social media, primarily selling on Instagram and Facebook. Other than that, do you have a particular strategy for using social media to promote your business, be it your website or your Etsy shop?
So I use Tailwind for Pinterest. So I
Mm.
basically schedule out about 300 pins. I think it rounds out to about 20 a day. And from that I think I'm at like 300,000 views a month.
Whoa.
Yes. That was nice. Pinterest was definitely, whenever I first started for just my Etsy shop, I was shocked how much it was converting over.
Yeah.
Then when it comes to Instagram and Facebook, I naturally as a person just am not great with social media. So I'm pretty happy that Facebook, when you have your own business, since Facebook owns Instagram, you can go to their Facebook business manager page and you can schedule out Facebook post and Instagram post.
No, really?
I know. I just found this out at the beginning of the year and I felt like I was the only one that didn't know, so I'm glad you didn't know as well. So, since I'm so bad at it, I end up doing all of my Instagram and my Facebook at the beginning of the month and just schedule it all out.
Wait, what?
I know, it's amazing.
Wait, okay, sorry. This is news to me because I didn't know that you could use, is it the Facebook page manager?
Yes, so if you go
Huh.
to your Facebook, like your business page,
Mm-hmm.
when you go to the publishing tool, mine makes me go to an external link. So it's like business.facebook and
Yeah.
then like a long link. And then through that, you can schedule, and it gives you the option between scheduling like this singular post on both Facebook and Instagram or just one or the other.
Huh.
It
That
was
is
amazing.
fantastic. Yeah.
Yes.
So in your experience, oh, okay, wait, no, you use Tailwind just for Pinterest. You don't use it for Instagram because I know there's an iteration of Tailwind that you can use to schedule Instagram posts, but you don't do that, right?
No.
Okay, because I was going to ask what the difference is if one as far as user experience, but I've heard that I knew about the Facebook scheduler on for posts on your Facebook page. And I've heard that even though most people who follow your page don't really see, or I should say, yeah, a small percentage of people who follow your page see your posts. That's what they say with the algorithm. But
Mhm.
I've heard that it helps if you use the Facebook native scheduler because then more of, more people who follow your page will see it as opposed to using an external scheduler. I think the numbers are still low regardless, but
Mhm.
I wonder now also if that carries over to Instagram. Like, will they give you a post or whatever you schedule, give it more oomph because you used their native scheduler?
See, I don't know, but that would make sense. That seems like a very like Zuckerberg thing to do.
It does, doesn't it? With the scheduling on Instagram, can you only schedule posts or can you schedule stories too?
You can only schedule posts for
Okay.
stories. That's like the one thing that I still do that I kind of do enjoy because it gets me a little bit more creative. I'll use my iPad and I'll use Procreate and I'll kind of just make a template that is the size of my Instagram stories. So I'll do like hand drawing and hand lettering, and I'll kind of post like, "Hey, I just made a new post," because I think it was someone I follow. They asked their followers, "Do you pay attention to stories or do you actually scroll?" And a lot of people said they just look at stories. So the only way they know if you post is if you post in your stories.
Really?
Yeah, it was very
Interesting.
interesting. I was like,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. I mean, I've heard that. Okay, I hear so many things, so I'm just like that person who sits down and hears everything, and I don't know what's actually.
Same.
Yes. So I've heard word on the street is that Instagram has a hierarchy of what kind of content you create. They will give more attention or make more visible to your followers. Right
Yeah.
now, Reels is like, the top of the ladder because it's
Hmm.
the new thing. And then stories and then posts are like the bottom of the rung.
Yeah. I've noticed anything new
Yeah.
that they come out with, they want everyone on that new thing.
Yeah.
So if you can figure out how to make reels first, then you'll probably get promoted the most.
Yeah. That's what I've heard.
Yeah.
But something that I know, even just from my own experience, that always seems to get a lot of traction is when I make videos. Now, it could be because I don't make them that often. And I think Instagram, when you do something you don't do a lot, they tend to tell people, oh, this person just posted for the first time in a while, or this
Mhm.
person just did this for the first time in a while. I'm like, okay, thanks for putting me on blast. So I don't know if that's why it contributes to that, but I have found that I get the most engagement when I make videos, longer form videos that I post to IGTV.
Yeah, I have heard that all of social media is kind of moving more towards, so like the TV version of social media is pictures. Now the radio version is video, and then the future version is going to be sound.
Wait, what?
Yeah, that again, word on the street of all the people that I follow
I like
is
that.
overall just because like we're just getting busier and
Yeah.
it's easier to listen to a podcast than it is to like watch a video.
Yes, yes.
That people prefer to listen to things now than watch a video, and people prefer to watch a video over just seeing a picture.
Oh, okay. Yes, that makes sense. Yes, that does make sense. And actually, I'll say that's even true for me. I will
Yeah.
listen before I watch because my eyeballs have too many other things to do
Yeah.
if it's not a priority. But I will watch before I just stare at either a picture or text because I just want to get it and let's keep it moving. So
Yeah.
that does make sense.
Because I notice even the YouTube videos I watch, if they're just talking, I'll watch them more often than if I have to pay attention to what they're doing.
Yeah. Okay, cool. And then speaking about YouTube, you're also on YouTube. Tell us about your YouTube channel, what you do on there, and yeah, just tell us about what you're doing on YouTube.
So I've been doing YouTube probably since I was in high school. All of those videos are down, so don't bother trying to look at those. But when I first started Jolu, I'm definitely one of those people that like to look back at either photos or videos and just kind of like remember whatever I was doing. So when I first started Jolu, like I said, I have very big dreams for Jolu and the whole Target thing.
I like that.
So I wanted to post videos of me just starting out and kind of figuring it out. And it's kind of a video I would have wanted to see at that time because everyone I was finding was very established artists doing like hundreds of sales a day. And I'm over here getting one sale every month. And I'm like, yes! So I wanted to video that. I look at it back now and I love it. And I think for anyone else going in, if they look back that far, they can look and be like, okay, like everyone starts somewhere. Rarely do people ever start immediately selling out things.
Yeah.
So now it's studio vlogs and me just doing sit down in front of the camera, kind of just giving my 2 cents on things. I think my most recent video was like if you wanted to start an Etsy shop in 2021, just like my advice on what you should do.
Yeah. I like that. So, how often are you posting?
I try to post once a week. Sometimes I end up skipping one week. I know for Christmas, I had ended up skipping a week just to hang out with family. But I've been good. It's been quite a few months of me posting every week.
Oh, nice. And do you do any kind of, like, I know YouTube is its whole ecosystem. Do you do anything special with your videos to help promote them, or do you just simply promote them and the YouTube machine just takes over?
So I've watched a lot of YouTube videos about how to grow a YouTube channel. And they pretty much all use this thing called TubeBuddy.
Oh, yes, I've heard of it.
And it basically just shows you like the background analytics. So you can go on someone's video and see exactly what keywords they used and tags that they used. So I've kind of tried to do that, and I'm still trying to figure it out. I get excited when I have like 16 views. I think I'm going viral. So I'm definitely still new at YouTube. I just find it fun. It's a fun little outlet.
Yeah.
Yeah, really all I use is that.
All you use is what?
A TubeBuddy.
Oh, the TubeBuddy.
Promote it or anything like that.
Okay. I will put a link to TubeBuddy as well. I've heard of it also, and I tried it before, but I was so out of my league with it because I wasn't even doing anything worth using the tool. But I could see the value in it, but I just wasn't the right customer for it. I remember because this podcast, I have a YouTube channel for it, but it's not me. It's just the audio file. So people, can listen on YouTube, but I don't do any kind of promotion. So it gets hardly any traction. But one time I did post a screen recording of how to do something on the Etsy app. I made a video of it using my phone, and then I uploaded that video to the YouTube channel. And I don't think I hardly anyone follows the YouTube channel, but I remember looking at it, like, oh, how many views? And I had like 10. I was like, oh my goodness, I'm going to be a YouTube star.
Same.
See, because when you don't post on YouTube, 10 views is like you said, going viral.
It's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's funny. So will you keep up with YouTube, you think?
Yes, I really enjoy it. That break that I had for Christmas, it kind of made me sit down and think, like, I don't really go on Instagram other than to look at like the 3 or 4 people that I'm like invested in because I know them.
Okay.
And I kind of decided, like, okay, what social media platforms do I use that I also can post on that I would enjoy creating things for?
Yeah.
So YouTube, I've always enjoyed watching them. It's like having like a little sneak peek into someone's life.
Mm.
So I've always enjoyed watching that. I made a TikTok for Joe Lou. So it's just like me randomly having fun, just doing random things.
Oh, nice.
And then I do the Facebook and Instagram like scheduling. So I'm still on those and I still post. I just don't have to go through like every day at a particular time to make sure the algorithm likes me enough.
Mm-hmm.
I can just schedule that all out and not have to worry about it.
Yeah. What's the name of your YouTube channel for anyone who wants to hop over right now and check it out? And I'll also link to it, but tell us the name of your channel.
So it's just my name because I've had it for so long. So it's Kelsey, Kelsey, Casteel, Casteel.
Okay. All right. So I will definitely have a link to Kelsey's YouTube channel for anyone who wants to go check it. And please do go check it out and see what she's doing on there. Maybe
Thank you
one
so
of your
much.
videos will go viral. Like for
Oh.
real. For
Oh.
real viral.
I don't think I'd know what to do with myself.
I know. I would retire maybe.
Like, oh my God, I get AdSense.
I know. So much fun there. When you get an idea for a new product or a new design that you want to create, typically what's the life cycle from the concept, when the concept comes to you, to actually creating it using your graphic design tools and skills, and then getting it up and ready for sale?
So it always kind of happens randomly. It might be like me and my boyfriend going for a hike and I see a piece of grass and for some reason it sparks an idea in me, which is why I always keep a notebook on me. So if you look at my notebook, it's just these random like doodles and I'll have probably close to 10 different print ideas on one piece of paper. So anyone who looks at it, it looks like chicken scratch and you don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
But for me, it's my way of being like, oh yeah, I need to do this. So it goes from the notebook and then 90% of the time it'll go to my iPad. The other 10% I'll end up painting it. It kind of depends on like if I want a lot of texture, I'll use my gouache paintings. If I want it to be a little bit more clean and simple, I'll use my iPad. And then from there, I send it to my laptop. I'll either use Photoshop or Illustrator, kind of depending on what I need to clean up. And then from there, it'll go to the various websites and platforms.
Wow. Now, how did you learn to use all these different tools? Because you've mentioned Procreate and now Photoshop and Illustrator. How did you learn? Did you self-teach yourself these tools?
So I guess I was one of those kids that genuinely did not know what I wanted to be. It seemed like everyone I went to high school with was like, I'm going to go to college and then I'm going to do this and this. I was like, I have no idea. I like a lot of things and I want to do all of them and I'll probably get bored with most of them within a month. So after thinking I wanted to be a hairdresser, then a photographer, then a videographer, I kind of stumbled into graphic design. So I went on to YouTube because school has never been my thing. So I've never really wanted to go to college or anything like that. I was quite lucky that the high school I went to was this weird high school college at the same time. So I ended up graduating with a college degree.
Oh.
So okay there, but I knew I didn't want to go back to school.
Yeah.
So I YouTube university'd and Skillshared just
Oh, wow.
hours upon hours.
With Skillshare, they're bite-sized videos, right? And you can just
Hmm.
like run right through them.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, it's nice because if you're busy, you can do one of the classes and then go away and then go and do another one of the classes. I think most of them are like separated into like 8 different classes for one whole thing.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Did you ever look into Udemy? I don't know why in my head I always put Skillshare and Udemy together because I feel like they're kind of the same, but Skillshare is more artsy and creative.
I've never heard of Udemy.
Oh, okay. Well, it's kind of like Skillshare,
Okay.
but I think Skillshare offers more classes and tutorials for creative people, and Udemy I think leans more towards tech type skills.
Okay.
I think from my experience on both.
Okay. Because all I've ever heard of is Skillshare and then Masterclass. So I've never heard of Udemy.
Oh, see, Masterclass. Okay, maybe I have it all wrong, but there's something about Masterclass that makes me feel like, I don't know. It's the one that all the celebrities are on there teaching you something.
Yeah, I feel like I'm not like fancy enough to be on that. So I just stick to Skillshare. I'm like, I don't know what you're doing over there, but it seems fancy.
Yes, that's, well, okay. I was thinking something a bit worse than fancy.
I was too, but I was being
Okay. Yes, I just more so like, I'm like, you're an actor.
yeah.
What are you teaching me? And I know that sounds horrible, but you know, like sometimes I feel like just stay in your lane, make a movie and I'll watch it, but don't teach me. But that's probably the wrong attitude.
I have it too. So if we're wrong together.
Okay, good. Okay. What is, or would you say, is a lesson that you've learned just in your time of selling on Etsy that has helped you grow, and you can share that so that someone else can maybe benefit from this lesson that you've learned just in your whole time, maybe not only just selling on Etsy but running your creative business too?
Mm-hmm. I think the main one that I still do kind of struggle with is if you have an idea pop in your head, it is there for a reason. And if you are researching to figure out how to do it and you get frustrated, don't just give up. Take time, even if it's a week or a month. I now offer frames. It took me about a year and a half of me starting and stopping and getting frustrated just because of pricing and stuff like that. But I finally have frames and they're awesome and I love them.
Oh.
So it's one of those things of like, if it comes in your head and it constantly keeps popping up, it's there for a reason. Even if you think it's impossible to figure out how to do it, there is a way. If there's a will, there's a way.
Yeah.
So just take your time. Don't get too stressed out of it. If you have to take a break, do that for yourself, but then come back to it because it will happen.
Oh yeah, I like that. I've never thought about that like if it's an idea that just keeps recurring in your mind or keeps on coming back to mind, then it's something maybe you really should think of pursuing. And I'm going to quote one of your quotes that I saw in your Etsy shop, and it's a print, it's a wall art piece that says, "Your hardest times often lead to the greatest moments of your life. Keep going." And that's exactly what you just said. Yeah. Thank you.
I made that 2 weeks ago.
You said you just made that 2 weeks ago?
Yep.
Perfect.
My turnaround time is quite quick. I normally, if I make something, I'll sleep on it to make sure I really like it. But then normally within a week, it's like on the shop. And I'm like, oh, look how pretty.
I like that. Yeah. What's one thing about selling on Etsy right now that you're really enjoying? And then is there on the flip side any feature that doesn't currently exist on the platform that you would like to see someday?
So I really enjoy videos that you can post for like each listing. So it kind of helps that I have like the YouTube channel. So I do kind of like B-roll and cutoffs of the actual products. So I'll use clips of those videos and actually put them on Etsy. And I have noticed those do sometimes get a little bit better conversion. I think it's because it's one of those, it's a little bit more of a tangible thing that customer can see. So it's not just like a flat image. Like you're able to see the finish on the paper once the print is on it. You can see the packaging that's used, and it's a little bit more of like a personal feeling, even though like you can't personally be with the person. So I really like that Etsy added that.
Yeah.
I guess I know this is like some people love it, some people hate this. I personally am not a fan. I think it's like a $10,000 threshold for Etsy's like offsite ads.
Yeah.
So now I have no choice but to be part of it. And I've never been one to really like someone else telling me that I have no choice in like my own business.
Yeah.
So when I got that email, I was like, no, thank you. Like, I don't want this. I was like, no. But it does, I'm lucky enough that what I sell it for most of the time covers the ads, like the charge for the ad.
Okay.
So I'm not too mad about it. I just do wish I could drop out of that.
Yeah, I hear you. It's like a double-edged sword. And initially I was when the first email came, and I thought, well, no, I don't really want to. But like you said, I did notice that the sales that were coming from the offsite ads were paying for the ads. And even though left to me, I probably wouldn't run ads on my products, just because I'm more of an organic kind of traffic girl. It's there is that thing about, well, don't tell me what to do. But I, at the end of the day, I see the value. Yeah. And I love the video feature too, because I think for years doing the podcast, we've, a lot of other sellers have always said video, and now we have it, well, in a primitive form. I'm hoping it will get to the point where we can post longer videos and with sound, because then I think that would really, really be good. What's something
I have noticed with Etsy, sorry.
No, go ahead.
I have noticed with Etsy, they're kind of behind on like videos, and they're behind on a lot of things that would kind of like push sellers forward. But I am happy they are finally they're getting closer. Yes.
Yeah, I know some things do take a while. And in case you don't know this, and for anyone else who might be interested, if you go to the teams section on Etsy, they have these prototype teams where if you join a prototype team, you get to test new tools that they're considering putting on the platform. And so you get to try them before they release them. Some of them never see the light of day, and I think that's based on user experience from the people in the prototype teams. But if you're ever interested in testing or being a part of the testing that Etsy does on tools that they're considering putting on the platform, check out the prototype teams in the Etsy teams section.
I'm definitely going to join that. I like trying new things. I'm definitely one of those people that are like the first new thing I definitely want to try.
Oh yeah. Oh, then yeah, definitely join that team. and it's a good way to connect with the folks that develop them too.
Yeah.
As a seller, and even have some input as to how to make some things better and work better. So I've done a few of those. because I joined the prototype team and have been able to test some of the things. Some of them I just don't have the time to do. But when you do, they are very open. They are very receptive to feedback, and it's just nice to be a part of that.
Okay.
Yeah. Are there any tools that help you run your business smoother that you haven't already mentioned? I know you've already mentioned a number of them, but any additional ones that you can think of?
I guess this helps a lot with having your own website. I have an email list and I run all of that through MailChimp.
Okay. Yeah.
So I love MailChimp. I will say getting it like all set up made me want to pull out my hair. But once it is set up, I love it. It's very streamlined. I don't have to really do much.
When you say getting it set up, are you talking about importing a list of names or setting up email sequences to go out?
So whenever I did set up the email list, I only had an Etsy shop and I forgot what group I was. Oh, I was in Fuzzy and Birch, which is like an Etsy group.
Uh-huh.
And she had mentioned like the best thing to do for your business is make an email list. And she's like, even if you have just an Etsy, it's still you can do that. So I had to make a landing page on MailChimp, and I wanted it's kind of like a warm target, I think is what they call it. I may totally be wrong. But it's basically like a reason for the person to sign up, because with Etsy, you can't really post clickable links.
Yeah.
So they have to copy and then paste it into a new thing.
Yeah.
So for me, I offer a free print when you sign up for the email list.
Wow, that's really generous.
So it's a print that's not on the shop, so you don't have to worry about if you just bought one print and then you're going to end up you're going to end up with two of the same print. So you don't have to worry about that. It's always like the same kind of style that the rest of the shop is in. It's basically a never before seen print that you get from having the email list.
Wow.
So just setting that up and setting it up to where it automatically will email them the file, that part was a little tricky. But once it's set up, it is super easy. As I've been saying, YouTube is the best way to learn how to do it.
Yeah.
So I just watched, I think, 3 or 4 videos and could kind of figure it out.
Okay. How often do you communicate with your subscribers?
I try. I don't want to be spammy, so it's basically only when I have something new and exciting. So I just sent out an email a few days ago saying that I was on Amazon and they can use their Amazon Prime and all of that kind of stuff. And I think the one before that was for Black Friday. So it's spaced out quite a bit.
Okay. And do you have an Etsy shop shout out?
Okay, so it's Catnip Illustrations.
Is it catnip with a C?
Katnipp, but she's a UK artist. It's completely different style than mine, but I just love it. It's very like cute and pink and very like pastel colors. I watch her on YouTube all the time and she's just the most like cheery, happy person. Katnipp.
Okay. All right. Oh yeah, for sure. I'll link to her. We like our overseas sellers too.
Yes.
And was there another one you wanted to mention?
Her name is Cheyenne Barton, but she makes really pretty, like whimsical characters. I just really love it. And she's based in Seattle.
Oh, nice. Do you know the website?
So the website is her name. So it's CHEYNNEBARTON.com.
Okay, great. So I will link to both of those so folks can go check them out, see what they're doing, and let them know that Kelsey sent you. Kelsey, what's the best way folks can connect with you if they want to stay in touch?
Probably Instagram. I'm very good at answering DMs on there.
Okay. And what's your handle there?
It would be Shop Jolou. So ShopJolou.
Okay. All right. So I will link to Kelsey's Instagram handle so you can check her out there. Of course, you can just hop over there now and look at what she's doing. I will also have links to her Etsy shop. Again, it's Jolou Design. Oh, that's the name of her shop. But to look it up on Etsy, you can search for Shop Jolou Design. I'll have a direct link to her shop as well. And her website is joloudesign.com. Again, it's JOLOUDESIGN.com. Kelsey, thank you so much, neighbor. This has been a good chat.
Thank you so much. It was so much fun.
Yes, thank you for coming on. And I just wish you the very best for 2021. I feel like your trajectory is going in the right direction, and I'm excited to see what you do over the coming year and where you'll be like a year from now.
Thank you so much.
You are welcome. And I think we should schedule another chat just to catch up. Okay.
Definitely.
And I thank you for listening to the podcast. If you want to connect with me, you can do so either on my website, convome.com, or if you want to send me a DM on Instagram, I'm at Etsy Conversations. And until next week, I don't know what I was going to say. I hope you have a good week. I will be back with another episode next week.
Thank you for listening. You can subscribe to the podcast in iTunes, and while you're there, please leave a review too. Visit convome.com to leave a comment or feedback on this episode.